What is up, everyone? Thanks for joining me today. We're going to take a look at something new. These are Call of Duty figures from Jazwares. Brand new, so we have Ghost from Modern Warfare 2. So this line is new. Jazwares has seemed to recently acquire this license, so I'm pretty excited about it. Call of Duty is one of those names that everybody knows, and I feel like 90% of people that have played video games have played Call of Duty. I mean, it was a staple growing up for me, in my teenage years, playing Modern Warfare 2. Some of the best memories I have playing with my friends, alongside, obviously Halo and Gears of War. But Call of Duty is one of those games that kind of always sticks with you. Since this is the inception of the line, there isn't a whole lot available right now, but we have the Ghost figure, we have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Ghost figure, which I believe is the same sculpting and everything. I think just the paint decos are going to be different. And then we also have Alex Mason and a Ghost bust. These can be found on Amazon as well as GameStop. So if you were keeping tabs with me back in July, kind of around this time of San Diego Comic-Con, then these went live, up for pre-order, both sites. And this is the one that I ordered from Amazon, and it's finally here. So let's talk about the packaging for a second. So far, I like it. It's a nice open window. We have the Call of Duty logo there on the side. We have some matte and glossy finishes throughout. We have quite a bit of accessories. So we have 2 mags, we have a radio, we have a 1911, an AR, and then some interchangeable hands also. The right side of the packaging gives us an illustration of Ghost, and then we also have a bigger one on the backhand side. It also shows us everything that it comes with. So we have the M4 magazines, the 1911, like I said, the radio, and then the additional hands. As of right now, I do not think this is going to be hitting any other retailers, but here is the barcode just in case. Alright, here is Ghost out of the packaging. My first impressions. I think this is a pretty solid figure so far. The price point is $21.99. There are some areas that need some, a little bit of improvement, specifically in some of the joints. But overall, I do like this figure. The sculpting looks great. I like the soft goods. That's something that they, started with, AEW? So to see that it's being transitioned into Call of Duty, I think is a big win. The extra accessories are nice. I do like interchangeable magazines, and I'm glad that he doesn't come with 5 additional hands, but a very modest 2. A highlight to this figure is going to be that face print technology, or in this case, a skull print technology. And if you look very closely, the eyes are even printed on the inside. It may not look like it, but it definitely is. And when I take this light away, you can see it looks almost black as night, which is pretty cool. I mean, it makes him look more intimidating for sure. At his arms, they use more of that high quality paint. You can see they look nice and dirty, like he's been running through and getting, debris blown on him and stuff like that. I do gotta say, what I'm most impressed about, aside from his face print, is just his tattoo detail. So what they used for his face print, they applied to the tattoos, and that's a standout detail. I mean, it looks really crisp and clean. Let's just break this figure down, starting from head to toe. So you can see he has his muffs with a comm mic right there. The soft goods are amazing. I really like when companies are able to implement that to their figures. You can see there is a Great Britain flag there. There's also one to his left shoulder also. There's even a hood to these soft goods, which is great. And when you put this on him, he looks like a Grim Reaper. That's crazy. I love that. What's great about this too is that it can be removed, so you don't have to have it on the entire time. And I like that because a lot of, other companies will put it into the figure, like the sculpting, and you will basically ruin it if you take it out or rip it out. Since this is removed, let's take a look at the articulation at the head. So it looks like there's a hinge and also a ball joint. So we can spin the head all the way around, no problem. We can have him looking downwards a great amount, and then also looking straight up. And these joints feel nice and tight. There's nothing that's overly loose so far, and you know how much I love that. And here is a good close-up of what he looks like from the back without the soft goods on. His vest looks great. It might be a little big, but overall I like the design to it. We have 4 pockets, which are not functional, but they look great. The sculpting is awesome. You can see there is a flash grenade here. There's also a frag grenade, and they even applied some weathering throughout to give it like a dirty appearance, kind of like what they did with his arm. We do, however, have 2 functional pockets. We have one for the extra mag and then one for the radio, so I'm going to think that the radio goes in this pocket here, just like so, and then we'll put the extra mag, looks like about right here. That actually looks pretty sick. You know, the functionality of having that radio popping in there and that extra mag taking it in and out, that's really cool. I really like that. Right next to the radio, we have another pocket, and that's where the 1911 is going to go. So I have it facing this way with the slide to his left, and it'll fit in pretty snug, honestly. And a little bit of it sticks out, probably, it looks like about maybe that far. Something I do want to point out is that the vest is not sculpted to this torso. Like, it's not all one piece in general. So this is an extra layer here, and that's actually really cool. Like, so the vest itself is like a little bit of a softer plastic. It's a little bit more pliable and movable, and that's great because that won't restrict any movement. Like, for example, if you see here, this back strap that goes around to the front of the vest, they sculpted it to the body, but they didn't connect these two pieces. And I think that's pretty smart, because if they connected this here, you're going to have some more restriction, you know, moving side to side, up and down, or whatever. So instead, they sculpted it here, and they still gave you that extra movement. So if you look closely, and my camera might be able to pick it up, but there is two joints here at the torso. There's one at the lower part of the chest, and there's one here at the hips also. So in combination of those two joints, we have Ghost being able to look forward about that far, and then moving backwards about that amount, and then we have some movement side to side, and I should be able to, yep, spin him all the way around. And then independently here at the torso, I have extra movement moving from left to right. Let's move back a bit to the shoulders. Here we have butterfly joints on both sides, which is amazing. I mean, that adds a great deal of range of motion to this figure, and it's honestly one of the best parts of this articulation. I do really wish the Spartan collection would go back to butterfly joints, because ultimately this is what's going to really help you shoulder weapons a lot easier. In addition to those butterflies, we have two extra joints here. We have a hinge and also a swivel, so we can bring the arms up about that high. Looks like a little bit greater than 90 degrees, and of course we can spin the shoulder 360 degrees. Just below that, we have a swivel at the upper part of the bicep, which will again give us a greater range of motion. You can spin that guy all the way around. At the elbow here, I thought there was going to be double joints. I mean, just the way that it looks, but there's only a single joint, and that will give us about a little bit greater than 90 degrees. Now, like I mentioned earlier in the beginning of this video, there was an area that I feel like needed a little bit of an improvement, and it's actually going to be here at this elbow. I think having double joints here will improve the amount of ergonomics that he's able to hold firearms a lot better. I mean, it's definitely not bad right now as it is. He can shoulder the M4 no problem, but I think it would be a little bit easier if we were able to get that extra joint right there. And I don't know if you can see this, but I like the design of this joint. So you can see how there's like individual slots, you know, each time that you like click the arm, and I like that a lot instead of it being like a smooth like circle and a joint around that, because I feel like that'll help keep that arm in place a lot better, and it's less susceptible to like wearing out over time. From there, we're going to jump to the wrist. It is just a traditional pin system with a hinge on it like we've seen with like the Spartan collection, so we can spin that around. We can also flex it forwards and backwards just like so. And to interchange the hands, it's pretty simple, just like the Spartan collection. Take it out, it is a pin, and you just pop it right on in. This is actually one of the additional hands that he comes with, and it is kind of like a trigger finger. I mean, that finger is almost independent by itself, but it is kind of closed grip, so I can see this going really well with, you know, holding the radio or even grabbing that extra mag. And then his last additional hand is going to be a closed fist for the right arm, so you can do like a hold position, or if you want him to just like throw some blows, you can also do that as well. All in all, I do like the arms. I think they're great, but if we could just add that extra joint there, then I think that would make them perfect. Before we move on, I want to show you this. Look at that. The back side of his arm, there is a skull part of his tattoo. That's awesome how clear that is. Alright, looking at the legs, we have ball joints there. You can see we can have him do the splits about that far. We can bring them on in. We can do a full seated position. Be pretty cool if we got like Jeeps and stuff in the future. That would be really awesome. So you can bring his legs a full 90 degrees for a sitting position. You can bring them outwards while he's also in a seated position. So that is great. Lots of range of motion there. And if you look closely, the ball joints themselves have some raised areas to them, and it's not just a smooth ball, which is great because that's going to make the joints hold up a lot better over time, so I love that. I hope they implement that with a lot of figures moving forward, especially the Spartan collection, or even like the World of Halo. If they were able to do that with the World of Halo, holy smokes, that would be amazing. Just below those joints, we have swivels here at the top part of the thigh, so we can take this leg and spin it all the way around, and the joints feel nice and tight. That is great. I love that. So just below that at the knees, it looks like we have double joints here. We can take the knees and move them independently, so we'll start at the upper joint here. So we should be able to move this back. Yeah, baby. Looks like all the way backwards. Okay, perfect. And then we can take this lower part of the knee and bring this back also. So you can pretty much fold this leg completely on itself. That is what I love to see. These double joints are perfect. And the knee ergonomics looks good too. It doesn't look like it's like cut in half or anything like that. Here is a better look at the legs and the sculpting to them. You can see the pants definitely look like they are kind of like cargo pants with some like pockets on the side. You can see there's some nice sculpting to the knee pads. Our last major area of articulation is going to be here at the foot. We have that little hinge right there, and then we also have a swivel, so we should be able to spin this foot 360, yes, just like so, and then we can flex it forwards and backwards about that amount. And then having these toe joints here is crucial. I mean, that really helps, you know, with a running pose or sprinting or anything like that. It really makes a big difference having this here. Let's do some measurements. So I found online that Ghost is over 6 feet. He's like 6'4", something like that. He's a big boy. So here I have him, wow, I have him measuring about 6.5 inches. So that seems to be pretty accurate. Here are some comparisons with some other figures. So we have our Halo 3 Spartan Collection Master Chief. And since it is almost Halloween, here is the Halloween Clone Trooper. And you can see how he stacks up compared to the rest of these figures. Unfortunately, I do not have any of the McFarlane Call of Duty figures, so these guys will just have to do. Let's take a look at these accessories. So we have the M4. Look at this baby. So we have, it's like a light grayish tone here on the stock, the foregrip, the mag, and then also the grip itself. And I can't think of any toy companies right now that actually have real firearms, you know, with their toys. I think maybe Joy Toy does. But other than that, I can't really think of anything. So this is pretty cool to see. And you can even use this, you know, with some other 6-inch figures that you have. Okay, I had to do this. Look at this. This is pretty cool looking. I mean, he can't shoulder this AR, but just to see Captain Rex with an actual like M4, that is wild to see. Man, he looks awesome. I wish he could shoulder it. I mean, his articulation gets in the way, especially here at the shoulders. But I mean, if you wanted to do like a cool pose or something like that, I mean, I think it looks pretty epic. Introducing the newest character to Call of Duty. You thought Nicki Minaj was great? Well, get ready for Mamma Mia. Okay, back to the review. That was fun. So this M4 does come with interchangeable magazines, so you saw that there was an extra one, and does fit in there nice and snug. I don't feel like this is going to like pop out or fall out if I shake it around. But dang, you know what I was thinking? How epic would it be if we had World at War, you know, style figures, infantry, and then weapons like the M1 Garand, the Thompson? That would be the peak for me. That would be the chef's kiss. If they could do that, and then obviously having all the styles of Ghost and Soap, that would be my most wanted set style figures from this Call of Duty line, for sure. I am curious though, how difficult that might be to get like the license for some of those firearms. I don't know, but that is something that I hope to see. But here is the 1911, and it looks like your standard 1911 issue. It is all black. You can see the little textured grip. There is no interchangeable magazine on this. It is just one solid molded piece. Here he is holding that 1911, so it works out really well. I do think if he had that extra joint here at this bicep, it would help make the ergonomics look a little bit more natural for sure. But at the end of the day, I mean, he can still hold it with two hands, and you can still get some natural looks from it. Before we wrap up, I want to show you a cool pose of him swapping mags, and I think that looks pretty epic. So the overall posability of this figure, I think, is pretty good. There are those areas that I mentioned earlier that can make it a little bit better. But aside from that, you can get some awesome dynamic poses with him, which I'll show you here. So this figure, again, is $21.99, and that's a great price point. I mean, for just over $20, you're getting a pretty solid figure. I mean, the decos look great. I love the tattoos on the arm. The face paint is awesome. And then one of the things I didn't mention is virtually that entire figure is pinless. The only area that I see that has an exposed pin is going to be at the toes. So if you think about it, the elbows and the knees, which usually have exposed pins, don't have anything there. I mean, look at our Spartan collection figures. Those still have pins there. So they were able to accomplish that with this figure while still keeping it $21.99. They were also able to add soft goods, an accurate M4, a 1911, an extra interchangeable magazine, 2 additional hands, and a radio. So when I review figures or I look at a product that I want to buy, I look at the price point, and then I also look at the figure, what it comes with, and the qualities about it. So when you take all of that into consideration, and they're still able to keep it a little over $20, I mean, there is a lot of win there. Does this mean it's the perfect Call of Duty figure ever to be made? No, but there is still a lot of value to this, and it can only get better. In terms of this Ghost, for what we're getting at the price point, the bar has been raised really high. Now, if the rest of the figures being released early in this wave are going to be on par with Ghost, then this is a big win. However, there is some areas for improvement. Like I said earlier, double joints at the elbows is key. If they can add that, his natural poses would look a lot better. I mean, I already do like the improvements to the joints, so we have like the individual slots throughout the arms, also the knees, and then also at the ball joints, at the hips, they have like those little studded areas throughout that ball joint. I love those because, again, like I said earlier, that is going to maintain the integrity of those joints over time. So while keeping this figure still at $21.99, that would be the biggest thing that I would want to see is the extra joint at the elbow. However, again, this is the inception of this line. So if there's something that you would want to see within these figures, or this figure particularly, then comment down below what you would want to see, because as you know, Jazwares has been really receptive to constructive criticism, and since this is the beginning, we can make our voices heard to see the best possible Call of Duty figures to be made ever. But that is it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video and hanging out with me. I hope it was insightful for you. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram to stay up to date when new things drop, like this Ghost when it went live in July. I also post toy photography and toy videos. If you did enjoy this review and unboxing, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel and it lets me know that y'all are enjoying the content. Until then, we will see y'all in the next video.